Hey, welcome back to the Relentless Positivity Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Martin. Thank you so much for being here, wherever you happen to be. So I want to talk about thrones today. You may not have heard it. I didn't mispronounce thrones, Game of Thrones. They're called thrones. I'll get into that later. But 2013, I went to my first TED Talks. I'm sitting in the audience. They have all these amazing speakers come up there. It's in Huntsville. It's TEDx. It's a local TED Talk deal. And if you're not familiar, it's Technology, Entertainment, Design. That's what TED stands for. So I'm sitting there, and like I said, really cool ideas are going on. It's called Ideas Worth Spreading. It's kind of the general, what TED Talks are all about. So there's a lot of cool ideas going on there about blood being able to power microchips and stuff like all this crazy stuff. This is 7 years ago. Even that back then, it's cutting edge type stuff. But one guy in particular changed my life. It's a guy named Dan Meyer. So he got up there, and he's a professional sword swallower. He's been on America's Got Talent, Guinness Book World Record holder, all those. You may have seen on America's Got Talent. Really interesting guy. He went through the physiological way of how you can move your organs out of the way so the sword can go in there. Crazy. Had pictures, showed it and everything. Anyway, that was really cool. But the most impactful thing that he taught me was about thrones. So they're basically what he calls them, combination of dreams and goals. That's what he called it. He had a bunch of amazing things that he's done that he wrote down a long time ago. So he kind of described, one of his friends described thrones as, if you could go anywhere, do anything, be anyone you wanted to be, where would you go, what would you do, and who would you be? That's kind of what thrones are all about. So I went home that night and I wrote down a bunch of my thrones. So he inspired me to do that. These are things, not just goals. Goals will make you sweat when you think about them. So two I want to talk about in particular. One is that night, got home to TED Talk, all right? I want to speak at next year's TED Talk. Not an accomplished speaker, not a known speaker, anything like that. But I wrote that down, and that's what I wanted to do. So I went home and wrote that one down. And another one that I wanted to do is I wanted to win a jiu-jitsu tournament, which is kind of odd because I was not even taking jiu-jitsu. I'm not sure what I thought I was going to win that, but that's what I wrote that down. So, and then 1 year later, back in that very spot, guess what? Your boy got to do a TED Talk. Now, they only give me 4 minutes. Think about your life story, what you could do in 4 minutes. Man, I motor mouth. One of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life, but it was awesome. It's amazing how you grow to get to those things. So they had this red circle out there, and you can't leave the red circle. That's where the light is. That was the most nerve-wracking public speaking ever. But I'm so glad I got the opportunity. I'll link my talk into the show notes if you want to check it out, From Pain to Purpose. More on the emotional side of things. Pretty tough for me to do. So it wasn't about exercise or any of the positivity and all that good stuff. It's real personal to me. So if you want to check it out, you can do that. I'll link that in the show notes. But that was awesome. Right there, 1 year later, back in that very spot. Dan Meyer, appreciate you. And then another thing. Let me just show you something. See that right there? North Alabama Grappling Association. So I won a jiu-jitsu tournament. It's 3 years later. Let's see, what's the date on here? April 9th, 2016. So 3 years later, I went from not even training to, I don't know how let's make this happen, to winning a jiu-jitsu tournament. It's pretty awesome when you weren't even training. So let me talk to you about thrones. Do you have those? You tend to get a little bit older and kind of quit doing these major goal-setting things. They get pretty tough. Do you have a goal right now that makes you sweat when you just think about it? I don't right now. So this is motivating me to kind of write down some more things that make me sweat and stretch, because there is power when you write those things down. There's power when you look at them every day and remind yourself that that's a goal that you want to accomplish. There is power when you say it out loud, reading that goal out loud. So if you don't have a throne in your life, write those down. Get that throne back in your life. You don't have to call them that. Some people call them BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. That just sounds like, I don't know, somebody you might meet in jail in the wrong room or something like that. So thrones, large goals, sweat goals, whatever you want to make them, whatever you want to call them. Write those down and look at them every day. Because I'm telling you, I didn't think in a million years I could accomplish those. But it's amazing. You put it out there in the universe, amazing what can happen. And Dan Meyer, wherever you are, thank you so much. I'm going to reach out. I'm trying to find it. So anyway, so that's the one big right there. So those two of them, and there's some other goals that I accomplished too, but we're going to move on because you need to hear some good news. Did you hear about Africa, polio? You may not, I didn't see this in the news. You may have. I'm not very observant. So they had it 24 years ago. Do the math. Yeah, 1996. Nelson Mandela, he said, hey, we are going to eradicate polio. So they got all the African leaders, got on top of it, got all education, all the things you need to do that. And they just announced the past few days, the WHO, World Health Organization, announced they have eradicated polio in Africa. How amazing is that? 24 years of hard work. So at the time, there were averaging about 75,000 kids were being paralyzed per year in Africa due to polio. So they've done some numbers, and it saved 1.8 million kids from being paralyzed and 180,000 lives. That's pretty awesome. You don't think about polio in America. That's not something we really worry about, right? There's been a huge problem over there, and they took care of it. Great job. That's awesome. Love to see people out there working together. It took the whole country to do that. Amazing what could happen if the whole country worked together. You know what I'm saying? All right, we're gonna wrap things up with your dad joke. So what we're gonna talk about today. What do you call a snake that is 3.14 meters long? A python. All right. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you tuning in for a few things. Hope you have a great day.